Hello class, this is a video tutorial on the portrait line drawing assignment. We started this in class already, so if you were in class and you need to come back and refresh some of the things that we talked about or that you did, or if you were absent and you missed the presentation, the tutorial, then you can watch this, okay? This is the image of Jon Snow that we did in class together. This is another portrait that was done by a student 2 years ago, as this one as well was done by a student. This one was the portrait that I did with my students 2 years ago when I walked them through it, and then this was another one of mine that I did as well. So you can see that the object of this assignment is to bring an image in, place it on your background, and then bring the opacity down, and then we draw on top. Okay, and then that's how it becomes like this, because we just trace over the line work that we see in the photograph. Okay, so one more time, I'm going to go back to sort of show you what I'm looking for. I want a cropped image, something that is at least the waist up. Okay, so before you even start Photoshop, we actually need to go and get your images. So remember, in the assignment, I gave you in this portrait line drawing assignment in Google Classroom, I gave you 10 sites for free stock photos. So this one here has these 10 different links, and you can test them all out, try them, get to know them. They're all absolutely fabulous. If you go to one, then just type in portraits, and with this website, as the other 9, you can use any of the images. They are here for you to use. The photographers are placing them so that you can use them without worrying about copyright laws or knowing that you have to be worried about that. So anyway, they're all absolutely gorgeous people. They're gorgeous photographs. And take your time, find a great one, because you're going to be spending a lot of time with this portrait, okay? So if you do like one that you like, then all you have to do is download free, and then it will ask you or show you the photographer that actually took the picture. So please copy their name so we can give them credit when we get to your website, okay? Okay, another place to go is Wikimedia Commons. I talked about that in class. So you can go to Wikimedia Commons, and then you can type in the name of the person here in the search tool and go ahead and feel free to use any of those images as well, because they're all here and they're all images that you can use. Okay, and then last place is to go to just Google Images and type in the person that you're looking for. When you type in the person, you're going to get a lot of images, okay? And because this is for educational purposes, you can use the image with, I think it's like Fair Play licensing or something like that. So you can use the image. It would be great for you to go to the original website or the source where it came from, so you can actually credit that source as well. Okay, so go ahead, take your image, drag it up to the top, drop your image, and then you want to go to large. Okay, and then when you go to large, then find your image that you want. Okay, and some of them are, well, some of them are silly, but some of them are, even though they're all over 4,000, some are more clear than others. Okay, and then I'm just going to go ahead and get this image. Now, I can right click and copy the image. So I'm going to do copy image. Okay, or you also could right click and save your image as, and you can save it to your desktop, downloads. Okay, or there's other websites that actually have a little arrow for you to download. Okay, so I copied the image and I also saved the image on my desktop. Okay, so now we're going to actually go and get our Photoshop and start our project. Okay, So after you copy your image or place your image on your desktop or download the image, now you're ready to actually start the project. So go File. Well, actually make sure you're in Photoshop. Go File, New. The size is going to be 8.5 by 11. So you look at your picture and decide which way it's going to be best for you. So you had to decide that on your own. So because of the image that I have, I know that it's going to be better for me to have it landscape than portrait. So I'm going to do 11 inches here. And then my height is going to be 8.5. So you're going to have 8.5 by 11. You decide if it's going to be landscape or portrait. Okay, 150 is the resolution, RGB, background white. Okay, and then you're going to title this Portrait Line Drawing. Space, last name, first name, P, whatever period you're in. So Portrait Line Drawing, space, last name, first name, P, whatever number you're in. Width either is going to be 11 or 8.5. Height is either going to be 8.5 or 11. Make sure it's in inches, 150 resolution, RGB, background white, and then hit create. Okay, so now you have a background layer. Just leave it alone. Go ahead and make a new layer. Now I'm going to show you a bunch of different ways to place your image. So you can either click on the background. Let's first shrink our paper. So Command minus shrinks your canvas down. Okay, once you shrink it down, then click on the paper. If you copied it, you want to Command V to paste. Okay, it's going to ask you this, say okay. Okay, and then clearly you can see how big my image is. My image, you don't even see Jon Snow in here because it's so big. So how am I going to know where my photograph is? If I do Command T, then I realize, okay, that's how big my picture is. So now I can hold down my space bar and I can, oh shoot. No, don't hold down your space bar, just move it over. So just grab your move tool and move it over. Okay. And I can shrink it down a little bit because clearly that's a little too big. Let's see. Okay, and something like that would be good. Okay, and then it looks really pixelated here until you hit the enter or the check mark. And then once you do that, then it comes in nice and clear. Okay, that's one way of bringing in your image. I'm going to show you the other way. So I'm going to turn that off. Okay, so here it is. If you put your picture on your desktop, okay, and here's the image on my desktop, I'm going to drag it on there. Shoot, let me try that again. Okay, when you drag it on, it comes in as a smart object. We have not gone over this yet, but that's why you have an X over it. Okay, so what I want you to do is, oh gosh. Okay, you're going to zoom in or zoom out depending on what your image looks like. Okay, and if you have the 2018 version, you're going to hold down Shift and Option and drag out from the center, or Shift key make sure that you do not distort or warp your image. Okay, and so if I do my check mark, then Jon Snow is like that. Okay, now if I do Command plus, I can come in and look at it. And if you look at your layer, if you brought your image from your desktop and placed it just like I did, you can see that there's a little box here. And that's telling me it's a smart object. For now, you're fine. Don't worry about that. But we're going to talk about that later on. Okay, it's just coming as a smart object. And you will learn all about smart objects probably in the next assignment that we do. Okay, but for now, just know it's safe. I want you to make sure that when you place your image, that you have it touching the top, that his head is touching the top, or your portrait is at least touching two sides. So you need your portrait, the one that you're doing for your assignment, to run off the paper at least on two ends. So he's running off on mine, he's running off on all four sides. But for yours, you need to at least have your portrait running off at least two sides. Okay. So if I do Command T, I see that that is my actual size of my photograph. So I'm cropped in here. Okay. Okay, so that's the first thing you need to do. So I'm just going to delete this other layer so I don't confuse you. Okay. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring the opacity down. So I'm going to bring it down to about 70%. Okay. Okay. And then I'm going to put a lock on this so I don't accidentally, oh shoot, hold on. So make sure you're selected and then you can put a lock on it. There's a lock. Okay. Now I'm going to zoom in. Okay. And now I'm going to make a new layer. And at this point, I'm just going to have you label your layers now. So this layer, we're going to make it, and we are going to call it outline. Okay, make another new layer. You're going to call this one hair. Oh, shoot. Okay, next new layer. You're going to call it face. Okay, new layer after face. If you have a portrait with facial hair, then do facial hair. Don't put it on the same layer as your hair. Okay, and then if you have anything else that you think that you should make a special layer for, you can make a separate layer for something else depending on what you have. If you're doing like a person that's wearing a crown or something, you can make that its own layer. So depending on your picture, okay? And then I'm also going to, for this one, I'm going to say coat because his coat is a big portion of the pictures. I'm going to say coat. And then one last layer, I'm going to make it, and I'm going to say like body armor or whatever that is in the inside there. Okay, as long as you know what your layers are, this is for you, okay, to organize yourself, okay? So now I have everything labeled. I'm just going to turn all those off, and I'm just going to start with my outline, okay? So remember, when you start with your outline, we're going to make sure that we have black as our foreground. So go hit the D key, okay? Then you're going to grab your brush. And when you grab your brush, make sure that you have a hard round brush selected. Okay. Hit enter to get out of that. And I'm going to say for your size, you can make the size, you can do it here, or you can just do it with your right or left bracket. Okay. And I was thinking about size 10. So actually, you know what? 10 might be too big. I'm just going to start here and then you can sort of see what my line looks like. Okay. If it's really, really thick, then maybe bring it down some. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm just going to start and see what happens. Okay. So I'm just sort of doing. Okay. And coming around. Okay, so when you do your outline, you want, if I turn the photograph off, you want your outline to have no breaks in it and you want it to go off the paper. So when I come to color this later on, there's a section here and then there's another section here. If I have a break in my line, then I can't color it. So make sure it's a line, a continuous line with no breaks in it. Okay. Now, depending on your picture, yours is going to look different than mine, but just same thing. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to come in here and do my hair. Okay, and once I do the hair, then actually, I'm thinking, not quite happy with my outline, but it's good enough for now. But I will probably come back and change that. Okay, but now I'm just going to do my hair. So I'm going to do his hair now, and let me zoom in and talk to you a little bit about the line work of your hair. Okay, when you do it, you can bring your brush size down some if you want, if you feel like you need to do that. And basically what we're going to do is we're just going to just sort of follow the lines that we see it, okay? And take your time with this. If you want, you can start with, tracing, their face. If you feel like that's better for you. I'm going somewhat fast for this video tutorial, but I'd probably go a little bit slower. But that would take too much time since I'm trying to do all of these layers at once for your video tutorial. So, okay, and then what you're going to do is you're just going to basically just sort of trace. You don't have to trace every single hair strand because that would literally take you forever, but you can get a general sense of the movement of the hair just with drawing some of the lines. You don't have to draw all of them. Okay, and you can see here doing that. I'm also coming outside and drawing them out here. Okay. Okay, so wherever your eye goes, your hand goes. So you follow whatever you see. Okay, and same here. Like I said, you don't have to do every single strand. Okay, like I said, I'm doing this quite fast for the video tutorial. So if I show you up here, okay, you can see his hair here. Okay, so if I turn everything off, there's the outline, and then there is the hair. Okay, so I didn't do every single strand you can see, but you sort of have an idea of the movement of his hair and how his hair was going to look. Okay, so I'm gonna go on to the next layer now. Just pretend that I'm done, okay, for me to get through this. Okay, so the next thing you're gonna do is face. So the same thing, you're gonna do the exact same thing. Zoom in, remember Command plus and Command minus zooms in and zooms out. And then when you hold your space bar down, you get a hand, and then you can move your picture around. So I'm going to move it around here so you can see it. I'm going to make sure that I'm on my correct layer. It says face here. I'm going to grab my brush. Okay, maybe I'm going to bring my brush size down a little bit. Okay, and I'm not going to do his eyebrows because I'm going to do his eyebrows when I do his mustache and beard. Okay, so all I'm going to do is just draw his eyes. And you can adjust your brush size. If you think it's too thick, you can bring it down. And like I'm going super fast, and I would definitely come in and fix that a little bit. But I'm just going to sort of speed through this so you can see. So when you get to the eyes, really zoom in and draw any of the lines that you see. Okay. If they have eyelashes showing, you can do their eyelashes. Okay, and then you can go back and forth between the size of your brush. So I just made it a little bit bigger for the outline of his nose. Okay, and then you can decide if you want to color that in or not. I'll have to look at it. So what I do is I do a drawing, and then I usually will turn off the picture, and then I look at it like that. So you have to really turn it on and off a lot in order to see how it looks. And of course, it looks sort of silly right now because I'm still working on it. But you can see if you don't like it, if it doesn't look good, remember. So remember, if you're using the 2018 version, Option Command Z, I can go ahead and get rid of my lines. If I'm like, oh God, that looks horrible, then you always have the opportunity to go back and change it. Okay, so that's what you want to do with that. And then the facial hair would be on its own layer, coat, and body armor. Okay, so you guys get the idea. I'm going to show you my example that I made for you so I can show it to you. So here's the hair, and then there's the face. Okay, so I did the face. Oh, you know what? I did do his eyebrows with the face. So if you want to do the eyebrows with the face or with the facial hair, you can do that. Okay. As long as you know how to do that. Okay. And then facial hair, and then the coat, and then the body armor. Okay. So I do want to show you that if you come down to a layer and you notice it's light, you can change the darkness of the layer by, let me just actually delete this for a second. So you can actually, so I sort of like his face a little bit lighter. I like that look of having these darker lines and his face a little bit lighter. But if you want to make it darker, all you have to do is go to your layer, okay? And then you're going to copy your layer, duplicate your layer. And the shortcut for that is Command J. I could do it. So you just notice that it got darker. I could Command J again, and it's getting darker, okay? Then once you have it darker, all you have to do then is come to your layer, Command E, is a shortcut for merge down, Command E. So now I brought it all down and his face is now darker. Okay. So if you need to darken a layer, that's how you do it. Okay. And then this is pretty much close to being finished at this point, but this took me some time. You could see that I took my time. I want you to notice when I came in and zoomed in, notice the line work of the eyes, okay, and the mouth and the lips and the nose, okay. So when you zoom in, you can really, see what you're doing when you have a cropped version, okay. So Command minus, now I'm going to show it to you again, okay, and then that's pretty much the project. So make sure you have everything labeled. That's the most important thing, is labeling all your layers and knowing which layer you're on and making sure that you're on that layer when you're working on it, okay? If you make any mistakes, remember Option Command Z brings you back if you're using the 2018 version, okay? So I think that is it for this video tutorial. If you have any questions, of course, feel free to ask me in class. And good luck and have fun with this and enjoy drawing. Okay, I'm done. Oh, also, I forgot to mention about submitting it. So when you're done, you're going to go File. Let me make sure I'm back in Photoshop. File. And you're going to export it. You're going to do a quick export as PNG. Okay, and then you're going to hand it into Google Classroom. So I'm not going to show you how to hand it in because now you know how to hand it in because you've done a couple of those already. Okay, good luck, have fun, and enjoy drawing.